Dramas start with main lead Kim Minq, who is allergic to human contact, prepares carefully with gloves, mask, and syringe before attending a military exemption hearing. When the doctors dismiss him as fit, he demonstrates his severe allergic reaction to touch, proving he cannot serve. Back home, he celebrates his robot vacuum's birthday, tending to collectibles, an aquarium, and a house of cards, showing he lives well alone. In next scene, Jo-Jia is shown, our female lead. She does online work buying toys for people. As soon as shop door open, she run and enter fast and picks the toy while returning child ice cream touches the box. She does not pay attention to it. Jia call the client for location to deliver. She goes to the location where car is parked. She shows the toy box to client who is Minq. Minq collects a limited edition figure from Jo-Jia. A ketchup stain on the package sparks an argument. Jia insists it was perfect when handed over. Minq accuses her of lying, and their scuffle triggers a rash on his neck. Jia briefly grabs him, distracting him and revealing her bold, fearless personality. He eventually pushes her away, injects himself, and drives off, leaving her flustered and impressed. Afterward, a drone delivers a USB from Dayang Shipbuilding, leading Minq to Santa Maria Research. He navigates a dark lab filled with mechanical parts and meets Allergic, a humanoid robot created by Dr. Baek-gyun. She performs facial recognition, interacts politely, and reveals her mechanical heart. Minq, shocked by her lifelike appearance, remains cautious but intrigued, realizing she is no ordinary robot. Says, "You are really a robot." He touches her finger and checks the bracelet. It feels just like a human, but nothing happens to him. Allergic then starts explaining her quality. He smiles and tells Dr. Baek that he will pay only after he personally checks Allergic himself. He asks Dr. Baek to send Allergic to his house tomorrow and then leaves. Allergic is being prepared to be sent to Minq. At that moment, a worker tells the little robot to catch an empty drink can and throws it. But before it reaches the little robot's hand, few drops from the can fall on Allergic, causing her system to malfunction. Minq suddenly joins a KM financial meeting because the board members are discussing to sail Dayang Shipbuilding, where San Maria Lab is located in next scene. Jia comes home, where with a cake she lives with her brother, sister-in-law, and their daughter. But tension fills the small apartment as her sister-in-law quietly retreats, with her daughter sensing her brother Jinbai's anger. Jinbai scolds Jia for failing to get a stable job and starting yet another business, even hitting her with his shoe in frustration. And he throws the cake aside. It breaks Jia's heart, and she reminds him that their late father sacrificed everything to help him become a lawyer, and that he is now her only family. Jinbai urges her to return to school or find proper work, and warns her not to take shortcuts. But Jia firmly insists that she works hard in her own way. At Santa Maria Research, Pai reports that she found the part that they need, but it won't arrive for 2 days. Dr. Baek calls and asks Minq for 2 days to test Allergic, but learns that Dayang Shipbuilding will be sold to Bold Group. By then, Minq has just 1 day to evaluate Allergic and make a decision about funding Dr. Baek open drawer, and pulls out photo whose face looks like the robot face. This was a photo of his ex-girlfriend Jia. Then he called Jia to meet him, and he give an envelope with 10 million won if Jia agrees to work for him for 3 hours a day. Jia says what work she have to do. Then he takes Jia to his lab. Jia gets shocked to see the robot. She is kicked out by her brother, so she agrees to do the job. After that, Dr. Baek team train her like a robot, and they put wig and dress her like AG. Jia is given contact lenses and wrist transmitter that will connect her to their network. Dr. Baek explains that Jia will receive instructions via text or video. Then they put Jia to van to deliver in Minq house. In van, Jia get call from Minq. She thought he finally called to pay her and is shocked when he accuses her of taking his necklace. He threatens to sue Jia unless she returns. Jia suggests that Minq needs a psychiatrist and hangs up San Ip and Hokta hospital, deliver the crate safely into the house. Minq approaches the crate and sees Jia inside to awaken to greet her master. When greeted as Aji 3, Jia opens her eyes to reply. As she sees Kim Min there, she gets shocked and screams, "Oh my God!" Hearing this, Kim Min is also shocked. Jia thinks, "Am I in this man's house? What will happen if he finds out that I'm the same girl?" Meanwhile, Kim Min calls Dr. Bayek. He says, "Why did the robot say, 'Oh my God, did you make changes to the program?'" Dr. Bayek says she's currently in friend mode. There's a button on the back of her neck, NE pressing. It will restart her into operation mode after the call. Kim Min says, "Did you come to be my friend?" while Jia was thinking that she should kill him and run away. She then remembered the money. Now Kim Min comes to her and presses her butt. She pretends to restart and says, as soon as she starts, "I like you. Master, what can I do for you?" Kim Min says to her, "How will you prove to me that you're a robot?" Jia says, "Sir, how will you prove to me that you're a human?" He says, "Good answer, but minus points for the defect in operational mode." Now, the system that Dr. Bayek installed with Jia shuts down due to a power outage, causing Jia to get worried, but she stays relaxed and doesn't let Kim Min feel that she is not a robot. Then, Kim Min tells her to solve a question. Jia thinks for a moment and breaks the box on the table, showing Kim Min that there was an egg inside the box. Kim Min is shocked that this robot solved it so quickly. Then he tells her to peel the egg. She quickly peels it and shows it to him. He smiles and says, "I didn't know this robot would be so smart." Jia is happy to hear the word smart for herself. Then Kim Min asks her to tell him about the toy he bought for her. Jia answers very well. Suddenly, Kim Min notices a change in her. Her chest looks more swollen. He thinks, is her battery swollen? He tells Jia to take off her dress, which makes Jia worried. Just then, Dr. Bayek's light comes on. Jia was saying very bad words to him, hearing which Kim Min calls Dr. Bayek. Again, he says to him, "Did you use a local battery that's swelling?" Dr. Bayek says, "Due to its running time, we've installed an extra battery to increase its running limit, which is taking up more space." Kim Min says she's back in friend mode. "Should I restart her again?" Dr. Bayek says, "No, just tell her to switch to operational mode." Now, Kim Min says, "I don't keep people who talk nonsense with me, but why do the robot's words make me so happy now?" Kim Min was talking about the necklace that he lost and thought that the toy girl Jia had stolen it. He talks to her thinking, she's robot Aji 3. What should I do with that? Thief. Jia says, you should file a case against her, but she might be innocent. Kim Min says you're taking her side, even though I'm your master. You should take my side. Jia says you could be wrong too. Master? Then Kim Min was taking medicine, but suddenly the medicine got stuck in his throat, causing him to start choking. Now Jia didn't know what to do, so she quickly approaches him and punches him on the back, causing the medicine to come out, and he feels relieved. He says, "What did you just do?" Then Jia receives instructions from AG3. She says, "We were taught to read humans' expressions and fix them. You needed first aid at the moment, so I helped you." Now Kim Min looks at her and points his finger towards her. Then Jia holds his hand. In the next scene, Jia was in Dr. Bayek's lab. He was scolding her, so she angrily leaves, saying, "Change that robot's face." A flashback scene is shown where Jia and Dr. Bayek were in a restaurant. She leaves after telling him to break up. Dr. Bayek says she hasn't changed at all. She's just the same. In the next scene, Jia was having dinner with her sister-in-law. Her sister-in-law shows her a necklace. "This fell out of your dress." Jia recognizes that it belonged to that guy. Jia sends a video to Kim Minq in which she is about to break the necklace, so he calls her Jia, says, "Apologize to me, and I won't break your necklace." He says, for what Jia says, "You called me a thief and hit me." He says, "You stole my necklace, and now you're telling me to apologize." "I won't." She says, "I didn't know the necklace was with me. As soon as I saw it, I told you. Now, give me your address. I'll send it to you. Otherwise, I'll throw it away." Then she hangs up the call. In the next scene, Jia's light experiment becomes successful, so she becomes happy. I just hope KM Company likes this. On the other hand, Kim Minq was sitting and eating something when he remembers the time spent with the robot. He says, "Did that robot save my life?" Then he feels like the robot is around him. He says, "I needed a robot just like this." Now, he calls Dr. Bayek and asks him to send AG3 to his house for a month, but Dr. Bayek makes an excuse. "That's not possible. We're changing our lab's location, which will take a week." So Kim Min says, "Then I'll keep AG3 at my house." Dr. Bayek says she can only be charged in the lab, so I'll send her after a week. In the next scene, Kim Min sends one of his assistants to Dr. Bayek and asks him to make a deal. Jia Gia project, which was to be given to KM Company, gets cancelled. So she feels sad, but she thinks she'll write a letter to convince the owner of KM Company to change his decision. Her friend says, send that letter to the boss's house. After this, they both come to deliver the letter to his house. At that moment, Kim Min's car passes by, so Gia hides her face and thinks, is this the boss of KM Company? She gets quite shocked. In the next scene, Gia's brother comes to her and asks about the money she earned working with Dr. Bayek. Where did this money come from? When she doesn't tell her brother, breaks her light project and asks her to leave the house. Because of this, Gia feels sad and says to her brother, you did not do well. And she leaves the house. In the next scene, Gia gets a message from Dr. Bayek. You can become our robot. So she agrees. This way, I will also convince Kim Min for my lamp project. Then she goes to Dr. Bayek and says, I'll do your work for free, but I need food and a place to stay. Now Dr. Bayek shifts his team to Kim Min's house. The house servant tells them some rules. You must not come in front of Kim Min under any circumstances after the servant leaves. Dr. Bayek also takes Gia out of the bag. Then they all eat. In the next scene, Kim Min comes to Gia and says something to her. She says, how can I help you? He tells her to set a password. She refuses at first, but then sets his password. He says, you saved me yesterday. She thinks, if you are yourself, give me the money. He says, I'll create a place inside you, just for me, where no one else can go, and you'll input my information into your brain. She says, what do I have to input? So Kim Minq says, the first thing you have to input is the hierarchy of this house. The thing I love is hierarchy. The thing that comes at the top of the hierarchy is pretty. 1. This back scratching tool is pretty. 1. Then this vacuum cleaning robot is pretty. 2. And this robot is pretty. 3. Gia says, I also want to be pretty. I mean, we are on the same level, right? Kim Min smiles and says, no, they are above you. You can earn points by making me happy. Then you'll also become pretty and equal in level to them. After that, I'll celebrate your birthday. She buys it. That day is her birthday. Gia thinks he is really crazy. On the other hand, Dr. Bayek and his entire team got stomach problems. Dr. Bayek says, what caused this? A member says, the expired curry we ate yesterday. Dr. Bayek says, Gia ate 2 bowls of it. What will happen to her in the next scene? Kim Min is showing Gia the things in his house. Don't touch these things. Gia also starts feeling stomach pain. On the other hand, Dr. Bayek's team is waiting their turn outside the bathroom. Gia is trying to stay relaxed in front of Kim Min, but she needs to go to the washroom. Kim Min shows her the photos of his parents and asks her to input them. He says, I hate deceit, so I'm glad you're a robot who will never betray me. Then Kim Minq asks her to save another photo. Gia asks, who is this master? He says, this is my first love. Kim Min suddenly hears a strange sound, so he says, what was that sound? Gia says, you farted. He says, I didn't do anything like that. Gia says, then did I do it? Kim Minq says, you're a robot, so you can't do that. Gia says, then you did it. And the smell is really strong. Can you change your underwear? So he leaves, asking her to wait. There, Gia immediately goes to the bathroom. Minq comes back from another room saying your master is not someone who farts anywhere, but he doesn't see Gia anywhere, so he looks for her and goes to the bathroom where Gia starts cleaning. As soon as she sees him, he says, what are you doing? She says, I'm cleaning now. A flashback scene is shown. Gia uses the washroom and starts to leave, but smells something. She brings soap to clean. Then she notices the perfume, picks it up, and starts cleaning the commode with it. In the present scene, Kim Minq says to her, I didn't tell you to clean the bathroom. Will it not be an issue if your hand gets wet? Gia says, no, I can even wash dishes. He sees the perfume in her hand and says, does this look like a cleaning product to you? She says, cleaning with perfume is a trend. Master, Kim Min says, cleaning with such an expensive perfume. Your master is rich. So, are you going to waste his money in the commode? Then he notices sweat on Gia's cheeks and moves towards her. But his foot slips on the soap on the floor and he starts to fall. The perfume bottle in his hand also starts to fall. Gia tries to catch the bottle. Kim Min thinks she's trying to catch him, but she catches the perfume bottle. Minq falls down, and she falls on top of him. Now, Gia was wearing a metal body, so she feels very heavy to Minq, causing him body pain. Then Gia starts pressing on him. He says, why did you catch the perfume instead of me? She says, because it was very costly. Kim Min says, you're a robot. Nothing would have happened to you, even if you fell, so you could have fallen to the side. So Gia starts explaining some physics law to him. Now, Kim Min hears a dog barking and says to Gia, you will have to take care of me, like a dog. Gia says, a dog takes care of its owner, who has shown it love and care. He says, you have to show the same loyalty. Gia says, love me half as much as that person loved that dog after this. Kim Min puts on a cat mask and says, recognize me, who am I? She says, you are my master. He starts smiling and says, you will get 20 points because you made me laugh. Then he says, you must recognize me in any condition. Then I will love you a lot. If you ever see me in a situation where you can't recognize me, go to the room I told you not go to and open the drawer in front of you. There will be an injection in it. Give it to me. You will get 500 points in one go, and then you will also become pretty for me. After this, Kim Min cooks in front of Gia, and while he is eating, Gia starts her project on the LCD and begins explaining it to him. But Kim Min says this project is useless, and then ignores her and puts her to work. So she starts cleaning with the vacuum cleaner, talking to herself. Gia accidentally knocks down his card, Castle, when Kim Minq starts to say something after seeing the fallen castle. Gia quickly says, my battery is low, so I'm going into off mode next day. When Kim Min wakes up, he messages Gia, also known as Aji, 3 to come home when she arrives. He points to the table and asks what used to be here. She says, a castle made of cards. He says, where is it now? She says, you removed the castle. Kim Min says yes, because a detective knocked it down and created a mess. Gia says, I'll make it again for you. He says, it took me 15 years to make it. After this, some past scenes of Kim Min are shown when he was making the castle. He says, you knocked it down. I was very angry with you, but now the sunlight coming in through the window looks so beautiful. That castle made this room very dark. Similarly, I want to input my current face and emotions into you. You came into my life like light AG3, and your master is very happy with you. And you are the most precious thing here in the next scene. Kim Min shows her the photos of his company's chief persons and asks, do you know who they are? She tells him they are good people. Kim Min says they are my master's biggest enemies, so if you ever see them, you must hide. If they find out you're a robot, they'll destroy you. After this, Kim Min sees his assistant coming into the house, so he tells Gia to bring coffee outside. When Gia brings the coffee, her brother, who was Kim Min's assistant, is in front of her. Now she hides her face and puts the coffee in front of her brother. Kim Min tells him this is a robot. Her brother says she looks real after this. Kim Min asks her to tell him about her brother. Is he honest or not? She starts listing all his qualities. Then he tells her to change her dress. We're going out next day. Kim Min's lover comes to meet him. He happily goes outside. She tells him, I'll be working in your company now. And there's another reason I came here. My dad wants me to marry you. Then she comes closer and touches him. I have said yes to him. She holds Minq's hand, causing him to feel unwell, so he tells her to leave. I have an appointment, and goes inside the house. His condition was very bad. Gia sees him and follows him. He can't inject himself, so Gia remembers what he said. She takes the injection from the drawer and gives it to him. Next scene, we are shown Minq's childhood, where he is building a card castle with his parents. Then a scene of his birthday is shown, where everyone is very happy. Then he is going somewhere with his parents. Suddenly, they have an accident. Kim Min's mom holds him close, which saves him when he regains consciousness. In Choel's dad tells him, from today, you are my son. After this, he performs the last rites of his parent. Then's dad asks him to sign a document. He says, can I use the toilet first? When he is in the toilet, he finds a letter in his pocket that says, never trust anyone. When he comes out, he hears Choel's dad talking to someone. They wanted to take over his dad's company. After this, Choel comes to him with some papers and asks him to sign them, so Kim Min writes something on those papers. While leaving, Choel holds his hand. Seeing the color change on his hand, Kim Min is shocked. This is how his allergy started. After this, he starts living alone in his house. One day, he looks at his face in the mirror and starts screaming. In the present, Minq regains consciousness. Seeing him so troubled, Gia says, did you have a bad dream? He says, yes, like someone stabbed me in the back. She says, how are you feeling now? He checks his bracelet to see his condition. He says to Gia, you gave me the injection, didn't you? She says, yes. He says, weren't you scared of me? Gia says, why would a robot be scared? And no matter how you look, you will always be my master. He says, you are much better than a dog. You understand me. Gia says, will you promote me? Kim Minq says, yes, from today, you are part of the pretty squad. Gia says, now stick to your words. After this, Kim Min sees the injection she gave him, which she applied strangely. He gets very angry with Jia and tells her to leave. While leaving, Jia sees the toy box that indeed had a mark, she thinks. So it was my fault. Thinking about his words, she says to herself, someone must have deceived him, and he has allergy. Even though he has everything, his life is not easy. In the next scene, when Jia is with her friend, Minq calls her and asks about the parcel. Did you tear it before sending? She says, no, trust me. He says, first, give me some proof. Then he cuts the call. I shouldn't even talk to you. In the next scene, Minq was thinking about real. He says, I need someone to talk to. So he goes towards Dr. Bayek's room, where he hears Jia laughing. Kim Min thinks it's her charging time, but they are joking. He starts to go inside to check, but Dr. Bayek comes out. He says, did you see me standing outside? Dr. Bayek says, no, I came to get bandages. He says, I need to talk to AG3. Dr. Bayek says, that's not possible right now. So Minq leaves angrily. Dr. Bayek was worried about Minq, allergy marks, wondering whether he should send Jia to him or not. A member says to him, you should trust Jia. In the next scene, Jia's sister-in-law tells her brother Jia shouldn't have befriended the robot maker. Her brother asks, what's his name? She says, Dr. Bayek. On the other hand, Dr. Bayek sees Jia sleeping and reminisces about the time spent with her. Next day, after Jia leaves, her brother meets Dr. Bayek. Minq was talking to Jia. She asks him about the box. Why didn't you open it? Kim Min tells her to open the box. When she takes out the necklace, he tells her to put it on him. Jia puts it on him, and he feels very happy. Jia says, are you happy to get your mom's memento? He says, this was my mom's locket, and it has a broken star. Dad proposed to my mom on a mountain after seeing a falling star. It means they became part of their star. He shows her a meteor shower scene on the wall here. Dad proposed to Mom, she says, happily. Wow, Minq says, this winter, I will take you to see the meteor shower, she thinks. But by then, AG3 will take my place. Kim Min says, if I marry someone, I will give her this too. In the next scene, Minq asks Jia, I have a friend who was proposed to by his love, but he has a disease. Can he stay with his first love? Without telling her, Jia says, why can't he tell her? He says, I can't get close to her. I can't kiss her. Can he get married in such a situation? Jia says, your friend has a very dangerous disease which makes him anxious. His first love asked him for marriage, and he thinks he can stay alone after marriage. Kim Min says, yes. She says, then this isn't love. Love means being together. He says, it's not as easy as it seems. Jia asks him, do you still love your first love? He says, yes. When I heard her proposal, my heart started beating fast. Jia says, Kim Min says, what happened? Did it hurt you? She says, why would it hurt me if your heart beat fast? There's no other choice. Go to your first love, hold her hand and confess. He says, we can't hold hands because of the allergy I'm allergic to touching humans. Jia says, what do you take me for? Such an allergy doesn't exist. He says it does. After this, Minq says, I'm hungry. Then he starts making crabs. She says, don't you think these are too many crabs? You can give them to others. He says, yes, I have, and they will like them very much. On the other hand, Minq sends live crabs to Dr. Bayek's team, joking shamelessly with Jia about how long it will take them to catch them. At the lab, Jia's brother, Mr. Joe, confronts Dr. Bayek, demanding to know why the robot was made with Jia's face and threatening a lawsuit if it isn't changed. Mr. Joe asks Dr. Bayek, when my sister broke up with you, what was the reason? Dr. Bayek says, I want to know that too, but I don't know yet. Meanwhile, Minq opens up to Jia about his parents, cooking with his mother, and shaving like his father. Remembering his first love, he holds Jia's hand and says, if she were a robot, like you, he could walk with her and even kiss her. Their closeness deepens, and Minq nearly kisses her. In the next scene, Jia comes to Minq's house, puts her project documents on the table and says, today is my last chance. Just then, Minq arrives, talking on the phone. After that, they're both going somewhere together. He says, the weather is perfect for a marriage proposal. Jia says, are you going to propose to her today? He starts smiling. Dr. Bayek sees Minq kissing Jia and gets very angry. He says, we shouldn't have sent send Jia to him. His member says Jia has gone out with Minq. Later Roya come to Minq house and ask him Minq for his answer, but he rejects her gently, saying he won't date, kiss, or marry her. Then he gives her a necklace cage. She says, "Why are you giving this to me?" He says, "I'm giving this to you as a friend." She says, "I can't take this from a friend." And before leaving, she shakes hands with Minq and says, "Let's shake hands and forget about marriage." He shakes hands with her and says, "You are the first and last girl in my life." Then she leaves. His condition worsens. When Minq is about to throw away his mother's necklace and sits down, crying, just then it starts raining. Jia covers him with an umbrella and sits next to him and stops him and comforts him and says, "Maybe someone else will come into your life." As they walk together, Minq admits the friend's story was his own. He suddenly realizes his allergy marks. Now he starts to stumble, but his servant catches him. Minq moves away from him and thinks, "Why is there no reaction? Am I cured after this?" They were both driving somewhere, and Dr. Bayek was also following Jia. Minq stops the car at a place and gets out. Jia was following him. Then they walk through a crowd. Minq gets bumped by people, but he is surprised that there is no reaction. Then he takes some caps from a cap seller and takes pictures. And Minq is very happy. At a place, Jia was not with him, so he starts having a reaction. Again, he calls the doctor and says, "I was fine, but now I'm having reaction S." Again, the doctor asks, "Do you have a syringe?" He says, "No." Suddenly, seeing Jia coming towards him, his condition starts improving. He tells the doctor, "When I see her, the rashes go away, and when I don't, the rashes start appearing." The doctor keeps asking him questions, but he cuts the call and hugs Jia. He says to her, "When you were with me, nothing happened to me. Stay with me until my death. You the most precious thing to me." Then he kisses her on the forehead. Just then, Dr. Bayek arrives, separates them, and starts taking Jia away. Minq doesn't let her go, so Jia says, "My battery is low, so I'm going into off mode," and closes her eyes. After this, Dr. Bayek drops Jia at her home and says, "Your part-time work is over," in the next scene. Minq smiles, remembering the time spent with Jia, and says, "This is truly a miracle." Just then, he gets a call from the doctor. The doctor asks, "Did you tell the robot about your disease and troubles?" He says, "Yes." The doctor says, "The reason for this miracle is your friendship with that robot." Now, Dr. Bayek tells his teammates, "I won't send AJ3 to Minq anymore. We'll leave this place the next day." Minq calls Roya and asks her out on a date. Roya finds Jia's project documents. She says, "This looks like a good project." Jia was with her friend. Just then, she receives a call informing her, "Your project has been accepted." Hearing this, she becomes very happy. Minq was waiting for AG3, but she wasn't coming, so he calls Dr. Bayek and asks. Dr. Bayek says her test phase is over. "I am leaving here and will find another investor." Minq says, "What about the money you took from me?" Dr. Bayek says, "I will return it to you." Minq says, "Why?" He says, "Because your attention towards AG3 is not appropriate." Minq is shocked. In the next scene, Jia comes to Minq's house to take her belongings. Dr. Bayek's member tells her to wait outside, so she stands outside waiting. Minq's servant sees her and tells her to come inside, thinking she is the robot. Now she comes inside and starts hiding from Minq. But Minq sees her and hugs her. "You ran away from there because you were missing me too." He tells her, "From today, you have to input more about me." She says, "But that will waste a lot of energy." Minq says, "How long can your battery last?" She tells him. Minq tells her to sit and tells Jia that she is the first friend he has made in 15 years and that he will spend any amount of money to protect her, refusing to let Dr. Bayek separate them. He tries bribing Dr. Bayek's team with money and services, but they refuse and insist on taking AG3 back, leaving Minq helpless. Jia suggests cooking for the team as a last chance, and though Minq resists, he agrees when she asks if he really wants to lose her. Using utensils untouched for 15 years, he cooks with desperation, even cutting his hand, saying this is the only way to save her. When the team comes to take Jia away, Minq tells them to eat. "I have made very good dishes for you all," changes his attitude after Jia scolds him, and after eating, they start leaving, and Jia asks them to wash the dishes. Then, Minq tells Jia to come to his room. He rests his head on her shoulder and says, "I lost." Jia consoles him and says, "You tried for it." Then he gets up and starts going outside. "I'll try again." Now Members repairs Minq's robot, lifting his spirits, and kiss the robot, impress them. Then Minq fries chicken and drinks beer with them, only to learn the final decision rests with Dr. Bayek. Minq became sad and falls asleep on Jia's shoulder, and the next day, the team is gone, claiming a new investor wants to see Aji 3. Meanwhile, Minq learns Dr. Bayek was framed by a professor and had given up his research for his team's safety. He confronts Dr. Bayek, offers to help restore his name and lab, and even grabs his hand despite his worsening condition, begging for help. After this, Dr. Hong is seen talking to Dr. Bayek. Doctor on a video call, he says to him, "This robot is very important to Minq." Now Dr. Bayek comes outside thinking about something. He comes into the room and tells everyone to leave, seeing them. Leave makes Minq sad. Dr. Bayek was also thinking about Minq's words while in the car. Then he decides and tells everyone, "We are going back now near the house." Jia says to Dr. Bayek, "I will do all this." Minq becomes very happy when he sees them coming back. After this, Dr. Bayek signs Minq's agreement. Dr. Bayek says, "Promise me you will never touch." Aji 3. Minq agrees. Kimin calls Aji 3 outside and takes her for a ride, telling her that from now on, he will personally pick her up and drop her off to save her battery. She says, "Am I precious?" Minq makes a funny face and says, "Absolutely not." Then going inside the house, he asks her to clean a room, then suddenly says he's bored of her pink suit and tells her to wear one of the dresses he chose. When Jia comes out, Minq can't stop staring and honestly tells her she looks beautiful, but quickly pulls his hand away, reminding himself of his promise to Dr. Bayek not to touch her. He comes close and says, "AG3, I want to kiss you once," then changes the topic. "I need to go on a date with Roya and kiss her." Jia later brings her friend. Now Dr. Bayek introduces her to Minq as Jia's friend. So Minq asks Jia to find out her history. She tells him her entire background, who teaches Minq about dating and kissing, making him reflect on his feelings for Aji 3, though he denies them. During a walk, Jia's friend pushes her, causing her to fall, and Minq catches her, creating a quiet, emotional moment. In the next scene, Minq has to go on a date with Roya. So Dr. Bayek says, "I will also go with AG3 in date Roya." Heel injury gets worse, so he gently helps her by bringing flat shoes. But she soon leaves after a call, and Dr. Bayek had also gone to get an umbrella. When it starts raining, Minq returns with his favorite umbrella for Jia, saying he likes sharing it with her. As Jia slips, he catches her again. They stand very close, and when she softly says, "This is the moment to kiss," Minq finally leans in and kisses her. Minq reflects that people describe a first kiss as sweet like an apple or gentle like rain, but when his lips first met, he realized he had kissed a robot who was gaining consciousness. Confused, he asks Jia why she kissed him, and when she apologizes and offers to stop, he hesitates until Dr. Bayek arrives, and the moment breaks. Minq becomes silent after this. Minq comes home. Jia also leaves with Dr. Bayek, but doesn't go to Minq's house and gets off in the middle of the way. Minq comes home, keeps thinking about the kiss with AJ. He says it was my first kiss, and she stole my first kiss. On the other hand, Jia thinks I'll tell him everything. After the test ends, Minq happily tells his doctor, "The robot likes me." The doctor says, "When I come back to Korea, I'll meet that robot." Jia was thinking about Minq and accidentally calls Minq. She cuts the call, but Minq calls her back. Now she answers and asks him for money. "You owe me money." He says, "No." When Jia is about to hang up, he says, "Answer one question and take the money." She says, "What?" Minq says, "When lips meet, is that called a kiss?" Jia says, "Was it just a touch or longer?" Minq says, "Yes, it was long." She says, "Then it was a kiss." Minq says, "I knew it was a kiss." Jia asks, "Was it good? Did your heart beat fast?" He says, "Yes, I liked it a lot." Hearing this, Jia hangs up later. Minq texts, "Someday, someone will like you a lot. Always stay happy." Jia smiles reading it next day. Jia has red eyes from no sleep, so Dr. Bayek gives her eye drops when she meets Minq. He says, "This is my fault. I taught you wrong. I told you that you can't love, that you can come close, but never be close. Don't do what you did yesterday. Gia asks, what did I do yesterday? And pretends to forget later. Gia's friend says someone stole my first kiss, but she doesn't even remember, so take her outside. Minq imagines kissing Roya, but Aji 3 is there, so he say, how can I kiss when she is here? And leaves angry in next scene. Minq takes Gia out, opens an umbrella, and asks if it reminds her of anything. She says no, and asks if remembering matters. He says no, but erasing does. She asks, why do you keep asking me to remember? He says, because I remember. She tells him to forget too. He says, I'm not a robot who can forget everything at home. Minq makes Gia do chores. Dr. Bayek sees this and confronts him saying, don't make Aji 3 work. I'll do it myself. Seeing the umbrella, he says, I made this. Gia says, no, I invented it. Minq says, you couldn't. The person who made it is a genius. That night, Minq goes to Dr. Bayek's room and talks to AG3. Asking what friendship means, she says, a relationship must be built next day. Gia thinks I have to forget and move on. She goes to Minq, who is sad. She asks if he's still angry. He ignores her and washes clothes. Soap gets on his face. Gia wipes it. He grabs her hand and says, you remember everything you didn't forget. Gia says, I don't know what you're saying. He says, I hate you. How much more pain will you give me? Pretending to be a robot. We are not friends anymore. Stay in operational mode, and tells her to leave. Later, Dr. Bayek is proven innocent. Thanks to Minq, everyone celebrates and invites him to a party at Gia's friend's restaurant. Gia's friend leaves Gia and Minq alone. Gia says, you've drunk a lot. Let's go home. He says, I don't want to. She tries to leave. He holds her hand and says, don't go. If you leave, I can't live. Gia says, say that to a friend. He says, have you ever wanted a robot to be human, and falls asleep? Gia whispers, I'm not a robot. Gia later sees Aji 3 being repaired. The doctor says she will be fine in a few days. Until then, keep your human identity secret. Next day, Minq tells Gia to change her clothes, takes her shopping, buys her a dress and bag, then to a restaurant where Gia is seated separately. Roya and her father arrive while eating. Minq agrees to the engagement. Her father asks, since when do you like Roya? He says, 15 years. She wrote me letters. Roya says, I didn't write any, but her father stops her. Minq is confused after they leave. He tells Gia to leave. She asks why he brought her. He says, because I wanted to. She asks, do you remember what you said last night? He says, yes. I wished you were human. But what does that mean? Will you marry me if you're troubled? Erase everything from your memory? She asks. Why are you like this? He stops the car and says, you tell me nothing, either because you're a robot. Make a list of Roya's dresses. Gia goes to Dr. Bayek crying, saying nothing happened. Minq later looks at Roya's letters and realizes the handwriting changed. Then he sees the heart Gia made from books. Dr. Bayek calls, asking why he insulted Aji 3. Does she have feelings? Dr. Bayek says, she is very important to me. Minq says, but to me, she's just a robot. Dr. Bayek reflects on why Gia broke up with him and visits the restaurant where they last met, remembering how she was happy when he spoke about his project, but left him after he insisted she move to America and abandon her small jobs. Later, Dr. Bayek and his team prepare Gia's project and welcome her into their genius group, leading to the project exhibition, where Gia arrives in a new look as Roya leads the event with her father and the CEO present. At first, no one visits Gia's stall, and she feels discouraged, but hearing her late father's encouraging words gives her strength. She passionately explains her project as a symbol of love and support, drawing in customers one by one. Her brother and Dr. Bayek proudly watch, and Dr. Bayek admits his past mistake in overlooking her talent. The CEO wishes Gia luck. Then Minq arrives at Gia's stall and says the lamp is meant for someone you love. Even if that person once hurt you, you would never throw it away. Gia recalls Minq saying that both the company's CEO and his father were once his enemies, and replies that her father taught her to let go of selfish people and make new friends. Minq agrees and says he would have liked to meet her father, but Gia quietly tells him that her father passed away when she was in high school. Touched, Minq says she reminds him of someone special. Gia explains that touching the lamp will bring memories back and Minq admits he will definitely touch it. As he does, another lamp lights up, making him feel as if AG3 is holding it too, and he leaves deep in thought. In the next scene, Minq is getting petrol for his car. When he is paying, his hand touches the salesman's hand. He didn't notice, so he leaves, but later remembers, why didn't I have a reaction? Then he rushes to the hospital, helps a falling patient still with no reaction. The doctor is stunned and asks if Minq felt happy. Minq remembers the lamp. He says, yes, I met someone dear to me today. The doctor says, someone you can marry. This is amazing. Now we can return. AG3. Minq says, what if she stays with me? The doctor says, you will get married and tell me which woman would want you to live with a robot. You were happy because you got attached to that robot, and she likes you too. But that's not enough. You need a life partner and real love in life to feel alive. When Minq leaves, the doctor, Jia, comes to see the doctor. They pass by each other but don't see each other outside. Minq calls Dr. Bayek for help. Jia goes to the doctor and discusses Minq's case. The doctor shows Jia a video of a patient with the same illness as Minq, explaining that he began to recover only after love entered his life. Jia thinks about Minq and how lonely and scared he must have been, then asks if a robot instead of a human made this cure. Could it be possible? The doctor asks if she knows Dr. Bayek on the other side. Dr. Bayek meets Minq, and Minq asks him to drink. Meanwhile, Jia arrives with the doctor at Dr. Bayek's team and is shocked to realize they all knew the truth. Now the doctor tells them something Minq was saying. He followed Dr. Bayek's advice to train the robot and share his feelings, which helped his body recover. But he also fell in love with AG3. Dr. Bayek insists it isn't love, only attachment from loneliness. But Minq tearfully says AG3 makes him feel alive and asks if there is any solution. Then Dr. Bayek drops Minq to his home, then goes back to his team. Jia asks him, you knew all about his disease, yet you sent me to him. Was it for money? She says, it's good that he's fine now, but his life could have been at risk because of me. If he had found out I was human, she starts to leave angrily. And Pai says, Dr. Bayek wanted Kim Min to get better. That's why he did this. After this, Jia goes home and hugs her sister-in-law, crying a lot. When her brother comes home, he goes to Jia. Jia says apologetically, I should have listened to you if I had a job. I wouldn't be in such a mess. Her brother says, whatever happened, I didn't plan it, but you learned from it. She says, everything has turned upside down, and I don't know how to make it right. In the next scene, Kim Min calls AG3 to him and says, I want to spend time with you. You are the same, but I have changed. She says, someone has punished you because you are in a lot of pain. Kim Min says, am I very bad? AGI3 says, no matter how you look, you are my master on the other side. Jia was coming with Dr. Bayek. The doctor calls and tells her, the patient, I told you about his girlfriend, betrayed him, but don't betray Kim Min. In the next scene, Dr. Bayek tells Kim Min AG3 needs to be reset. Now Jia goes to Kim Min. He says, for the past few months, you have been everything to me. You brought light into my life. The time spent with you feels like a miracle. Jia says, I am not your only remedy. Everyone who loves you is your remedy. So whatever happens next, always be happy. You have cherished me like a treasure and given me so much love. I can never forget this. Thank you, Master. Kim Min says today, I am going to reset you. She says, push the button on my neck. My reset will start. Kim Min says, I have one last thing to input. She says that will also be deleted by the reset. Master Kim Min puts his necklace on her and hugs her, saying, I love you. He's crying a lot. Jia also starts crying. She says, every moment spent with you makes me happy. Kim Min pushes her button, restarting her system. She says, all my memories will be deleted in 5 seconds. After this, it's shown that both of them start living very sad. Kim Min packs all of AG3 belongings. Then Kim Min goes to the office and interacts well with all the workers. He then goes to the canteen and sits with Mr. Joe, who is having lunch. Mr. Joe is shocked to see Kim Min. After eating, Kim Min tells Mr. Joe to bring all the files and records. After working for a long time, Mr. Joe tells Kim Min, you should go home now. When Kim Min comes home, Dr. Bayek and his team are there. They cook for Kim Min. When Kim Min eats, he says this is not good. Dr. Bayek says, all right, then I'll eat it. Kim Min says, no. You all have made it with so much effort. I'll eat it. Dr. Bayek remembers Jia saying, now you all stay with Kim Min like a family so that he is not alone after eating. They all play games. Then Kim Min goes to sleep, but he can't sleep. So he calls Jia. He says, I need to say goodbye, but the conditions are the same. Jia hearing his voice. Jia starts crying. Then she tells him, I'm going far away. Kim Min says, no. Then who will bring my toys? And who will I call? She says, I've quit that job, so don't call me anymore. Then she hangs up and starts crying. Dr. Bayak sees her crying from outside. In the next scene, Jia applies to go to Australia. She comes home and tells her sister-in-law, I'm going to Australia for a few days. I'll work and learn English there, her. But her sister-in-law tries to stop her. Jia insists because she needs money for the ticket. She then does exhausting delivery work and during one job sees Minq with Roya, hides her face, and leaves quickly in the following scene when a meeting was called to fire Kim Min from the company. Kim Min also calls Dr. Bayak for help. They brief everything and also show their robot project, which makes Kim Min's work easier. Then Jia sends Minq her lamp, making him happy. When he touches the lamp, he imagines Jia sitting in front of him. Then he cries, missing her, when Dr. Bayak was about to changing Aji3's face. Minq stops him after he talked to Aji3. He feels something is missing after the restart. The next day, on his way to see a meteor shower on a train, Minq is sitting where Jia is sitting in front of him. He keeps looking at her. Jia also sees him now. A flashback shows Roya rejecting his marriage proposal, yet thanking him for the birthday letters that once brought her comfort. After this, Kim Min arrives at the train station. He asks Mr. Joe about the work, and they tell him to come there. Now Jia also arrives at the same train station. She had to meet her relative. Kim Min is shocked to see Jia there as well. Jia notices him, hides her face, and pretends not to recognize him. After giving up his seat, Minq steps outside and calls Dr. Bayak, asking whose face was used for Aji3. Dr. Bayak tells him she was her friend and advises him to ignore her if they meet. Then Kim Min calls Mr. Joe and says, I don't think I can make it. You handle everything on the other side. Dr. Bayak team calls some designers who were fake people. They hack all their data and save the information about Aji3 on a drive. Kim Min gets off the train and starts following Jia. Jia arrives at her relative's house, which was a restaurant. She starts helping them. Kim Min is watching her from below. After this, Jia goes to get fish on her aunt's request. Everyone there knew her, so she talks to everyone nicely. Jia sees a cat there and starts loving it. Later, Minq enters the restaurant and asks if she knows him. Jia denies knowing him, though she admits they traveled on the same train. He asks to talk, but she refuses, saying she is busy. Minq decides to wait, so Jia steps away and calls her friend, who tells her to ignore him. After the customers leave, Jia asks Minq, why you followed me? Do you love me? Even if that's the case, you can't come to my workplace like this. He says, I'm hungry. Jia angrily goes inside and messages Dr. Bayak about the whole situation. Meanwhile, Dr. Bayak is removing the virus from the computer and protecting the whole system. Jia keeps Kim Min waiting for a long time, but he doesn't leave. So she comes out and asks him, what do you want to say? Kim Min says, I recently lost a friend who brought me out. 15 years of darkness. She says, that's terrible. But what's the connection to me? Kim Min says, you're like that friend to me. Jia says, I understand. Do you know, Dr. Beck, do you know about AG3? She, a robot. Dr. Beck made me the character model of that robot. The person you see before, you see, is not a robot, but a human. He says, I know, she says. Then, why are you following me? Kim Min apologizes to her. Jia says, now leave from here. Kim Min says, I can't see you. She asks, why? Kim Min says, because you are very beautiful. Jia tells him to stand up and then throws him out of the restaurant. Now Kim Min asks her, I need a room upstairs, but Jia gets annoyed and goes inside, closing the door. After a while, she checks outside and sees that he's not there, thinking Kim Min has left. Now she is talking to Dr. Bayak when suddenly Kim Min comes into the kitchen and scares her. She says, why did you come back? Kim Min says, my bag and coat are here. She says, then take them and leave. Kim Min says, but I haven't eaten yet. Then he goes outside and starts eating. Jia brings him water and places it beside him. At that moment, her aunt asks her to park the car. Kim Min asks her aunt, can I get a room? She says, yes. Which one do you want? Then she asks Jia to show him the room. Jia takes him upstairs and shows him the room. He asks, can you get me some coffee? Jia says, there's a coffee shop in front. Get it from there. He says, I don't have change. Jia gives him some coin. After that, Kim Min is getting coffee from the coffee machine when the aunt helps him. Then Jia comes and tells her aunt, "I'm going to the warehouse." The aunt says, "It's quite dark. I'll come with you." But she says, "No need." So the aunt tells Kim Min to go with Gia, and they leave together and park the car inside, and Gia looks for the fish basket. But the owner accidentally locks them in and leaves. Gia shouts for help, but no one hears. She tries calling, but there's no signal. Kim Min stays calm, saying he's used to such situations. They realize they're hungry, and Gia admits she hasn't eaten all day. She finds something to keep them warm, but a thorn pricks her finger, and Kim Min gently removes it, making Gia go quiet. Later, they find a heater and some food and eat together. He smiles while looking at her, so Gia asks, "Why are you laughing like that?" He says, "Everything I wanted to do with Aji 3, I'm feeling it with you." She says, "Yes, but I'm a human." Kim Min says, "How old are you?" "I'm 29. She says, "Me too. You got locked here following me?" He says, "I like it." She asks, "Oh, what do you mean?" Kim Min says, "Right now, I am everything." Gia warns that such words could misunderstand his girlfriend, but he replies that he doesn't have one. As he drinks wine, they talk about Rain, his first kiss, and Aji 3. Gia promises to listen if he agrees to go back the next day. Kim Min tells her the whole story and then says, "I decided to reset Aji 3. And that's the end of the story." Gia asks, "Why did you decide to reset her?" Then Kim Minq says he was lonely, scared of the past, and erased her memories when she didn't return his feelings. "But now I'm paying for it." After this, she says, "It's morning now." Kim Min says, "Time passed quickly. You got to know about me now. Tell me about yourself." Then she tells him about her family. After this, Gia says to him, "Now we have talked about everything, so you should go back to Seoul as per your promise. With time, everything will be fine. Only memories will remain. Always stay happy." Kim Min, now in the morning when the owner opens the door, they both are sleeping with their heads on each other's shoulders. Meanwhile, hackers find a video from Dr. Bayek's lab that reaches the company's first CEO, making him happy. Also, Dr. Bayek comes to take him. Gia says, "Take Kim Min away from here." Gia's aunt gets a call, so she tells Gia to close the restaurant. Before leaving, Kim Min shakes hands with Gia, and she tells him to take care. Downstairs, customers flood the restaurant, and Gia announces there will be no lunch, but they insist on being served. Kim Min steps in, asks everyone to wait, and cooks, while Dr. Bayek helps serve. After the customers leave, he cooks for them, and asks Gia to taste each dish. On the other hand, Dr. Bayek's team finds a file that wasn't deleted. AG3 says, "I created this file, and in that folder were memories of Kim Min with AG3. They are shocked that this folder has leaked." Before parting, Gia tells Kim Min to keep his promise and never return here on the other side. Dr. Bayek's team informs them about the folder leak. They stop at a store to buy something as soon as they get in the car. Kim Min wasn't there. Kim Min secretly goes back, but finds the restaurant closed and learns Gia has left. He finds her crying by the seaside. Kim Min goes to her and calls her. When she looks at him, Kim Min sees the AG3 necklace on her neck. He says, "Why are you wearing this necklace?" Then he starts remembering all the memories. Gia says to him, "Let me explain." He pushes her away and says, "You've lied to me so much." Suddenly, Kim Min condition get worsened. He falls to the ground. Just then, Dr. Bayek arrives. He quickly takes out an injection from his bag and gives it to him. Then they take Kim Min home. Gia is crying a lot. The doctor treats him at home because of the video. Dr. Bayek has to give AG3 to those people, as they also learned about Kim's disease. After Kim Min regains his consciousness, he gets up and goes outside where Gia sees him and asks about his condition, but Kim Min ignores her and starts walking ahead. Suddenly, he falls to the ground. His doctor comes and takes him inside. Next scene, Mr. Joe explains whole situation that the leaked video exposed Kim Min's illness, forcing Dr. Bayek to hand over AG3. Kim Min says, "So, what about me?" Mr. Joe says, "That's the truth. If you file a case against them, all the information will come out in the press, and you could also be removed from the company." Kim Min insists on filing a case against the Santa Maria team and their robot. Mr. Joe agrees, but asks to resign and for another position, explaining his reasons in a letter. Kim Min reads the letter. He says, "So your sister is the reason for all this." Mr. Joe says, "I apologize to you." Kim Min says, "Leave and tell the Santa Maria team to get out of my house." Kim Min's doctor calls Jia outside. Jia says, "What should I do? Now, first he got better because of me, and now he's sick again because of me. What should I do to make him better again?" Doctor urges her to help him again as she did before. Determined, Jia learns cooking. The next day, in the next scene, Choel Dad shows Roya Dad a picture of Kim Min's disease and says, "Do you want such a person as your son-in-law?" He tells him to marry Roya to Choel. "I'll transfer the shares to Roya's name, and then we'll also remove Kim Min from the company." Jia had cooked food for Kim Min. She says, "I made this with my own hands," but Kim Min throws all the food into the dustbin and leaves. The next day, Jia brings him food again. Kim Min says, "Are you out of your mind? When I don't even look at you, why do you come here?" Then he says, "You think by doing this, I won't file a case." Jia says, "It's not like that." He says, "Then why do you come? Don't you feel what you've done to me?" He tries to hold her hand, but Jia pulls her hand back. Kim Min says, "You're afraid this disease might infect you." She says, "It's not like that." Kim Min says it is. He knocks down the food she brought and tells her to leave. He goes into his room. Jia says, "I'm sorry, but I'm not afraid of you. No matter what you say, I'll keep coming here. I'll come to see you every day at night." Kim Min keeps thinking about Jia's words and later checks Dr. Beck's room before warning his servant not to let Jia enter the house. Inside the house, he asks him, "Have you ever lied to me?" He says, "Yes, many times. We are humans, not angels, and you have also lied to me many times. You promised to bring me an X-ray machine, but you haven't yet, so these things shouldn't cause separation." The next day, as Jia goes to bring food for Kim Min, she gets into an accident while saving a little girl. Unaware of this, Kim Min waits for her, growing restless. That night, he reads a letter written by Jia, explaining the lamp project. Jia comes to his house and asks him to eat. He says, "You are not my friend, so don't say such things." As she starts to leave, Kim Min asks her, "Did you make these lights?" She says, "I have a lot to tell you." He says, "I don't want to hear anything." Kim Min says before reading your letter, "I waited for you like a madman, but you betrayed me. Again, you said you would come, but you didn't. The robot didn't lie, like you did." Jia says, "Please forgive me." Kim Min says, "For what?" "For acting like a robot. What I felt. Did you feel it too? When I felt all that, what were you thinking? Did you enjoy seeing me like this?" Crying, Jia begs for forgiveness, but Kim Min pushes her away with harsh words, saying he wants to erase the time they spent together because it hurts too much. Overcome by anger, he throws a glass that shatters, and a shard cuts Jia's hand. Bleeding and heartbroken, she leaves without a word. After she leaves, Kim Min sees her blood on the ground. The next day, Jia's friend visits Kim Min and tells him that the Santa Maria team has come to her cafe looking for a place to stay. Also, they cry remembering you and that Jia is leaving for Australia. Kim Min coldly says to let her go. She says that Jia hurt her hands many times while cooking for him, and that soon only memories will remain. While Jia moves on, why did she kiss you? And what are her feelings for you? This is a gift for you. You should know them. Jia's friend takes the lamp and places it in Jia's room. Kim Min comes home. He hears about the meteor shower on the news and looks at the umbrella that Jia had made. It reminds him of Jia's words. Then he touches the lamp, and Jia's room lamp also turns on. Then Kim Min takes his car and goes to see the meteor shower on the other side. Jia's room lamp also turns on, so she also sets out to meet Kim Min. Kim Min is looking for Jia. There, just then, she arrived. Kim Min says to her, "What do you want to tell me?" Jia says, "I have a lot to tell you." Kim Min says, "All right, start telling me." Jia says, "When you first met me, you knew I was human. You knew me as Jia." Kim Min says, "Yes, the one I met in the competition." She says, "I am President Joe, who used to bring toys. So we had met before now." Kim Min thinks about everything he says to her when AG3 was delivered. "I was talking to President Joe on the call." Jia says, "Yes, at that time. I was talking from inside the box. So when the box opened, I was scared to see you in front of me. I thought you would find out." Kim Min says, "Dr. Beck said friend mode is on." Jia says, "Yes, and you believed it." Kim Min says, "You must have thought I was crazy." Jia says, "At first, I couldn't believe you were believing everything." Next scene, Jia says, "When you called me smart, I was very happy." Jia says, "My brother didn't know about my robot acting either." Kim Min says, how did you control your hunger? Seeing my food. Jia says, I ate all that, everything was so delicious. After this, Jia tells him, while spending time with you. At one point I felt you were very lonely and sad, so I felt bad for you, so I wanted to do everything to make you happy. Kim Min says, have you ever had any feelings for me? She says, not like that. She says, whenever you called me special and always wanted me to stay with you, it felt like you were proposing to me then when I saved your life. You're so happy. Kim Min says, I was scared to see you. Then Jia says, yes, a little, but I remembered your words. You said, no matter how I look, you would recognize me that day. I realized your sincerity and good heart, and when you touched my head, I liked it very much. Minq stops touching her head. Jia puts on her cap and places his hand on her head, then holds his hand. He says, you are beautiful. She says, you are more beautiful. Jia says, when you reset me, I still couldn't tell you everything, but being able to see you, I liked seeing you, and here on the island, I should have told you everything. Forgive me. Minq starts to kiss her, but stops again. Jia sits close to him and talks about the kiss that happened in the rain. Minq says, no, don't open this. Then he gets up and says, thank you very much for telling me the whole truth with these memories. Maybe I'll spend my life alone. Jia says, what does that mean? He says, I have to go back home. Maybe I can never touch you, so I won't put you through this trial. So our time ends here. Goodbye. Jia stops him and says, you can't leave like this. The love I had always waited for, you gave me, the one I remembered every day was you. I need you more than you need me. So you are the person I always waited for. You don't know. Before resetting me, I wanted to tell you, I love you. Now Kim Min comes close to her and starts kissing her, then says, my wish has been fulfilled today. Jia says, which wish? Then he hugs her in the morning. Minq brings coffee for Jia and gives it to her. Then he drops her home. Minq says, shall we take another round? Jia says, we've taken 5 rounds already. It's time to go home. He says, will you work at my house again? Then Jia smiles after that. She says goodbye and goes inside. Kim Min also goes home and calls Mr. Joe and tells him not to file a case and to come home. After that, he says to Mr. Joe, you didn't do anything wrong, so I won't accept your resignation. I trust you. Now Mr. Joe tells him about the deal. If this deal goes through, the Santa Maria team will have to give Aji 3. He goes to Dr. Bayek, but they had already taken Aji 3. Kim Min starts fighting with Dr. Bayek. Why did you do that? Dr. Bayek says, if your disease had been revealed to the media, no one would have believed the truth. So we had to do this. After this, Dr. Bayek tells Kim Min about Jia. She was my first love, but we broke up for some reason, so I made my robot of her face. But when I gave Jia to you as a robot, my love story chapter ended. I saw both of you on the island. You both look good together in the next scene. Kim Min goes to Choel dad and says, don't sell the Santa Maria team. I'll resign after that. Choel says to him, why are you doing this? Kim Min says, because they are giving up because of me. In the next scene, when Kim Min goes home, Dr. Beck's team and Jia are cooking there. Jia sees him and says, they wanted to tell you something. Dr. Beck says, we are leaving tomorrow, so we wanted to talk to you. After that, they start eating. Then they gift Kim Min a robot. This is very good. Please forgive us. Kim Min says, but I can't take it. Then they get up to leave. Kim Min says, stay here. It's cold outside at night. Kim Min sees them sleeping and adjusts their blankets. Then he sees Jia sleeping on the sofa. He starts kissing her hands and she wakes up. Kim Min tells her, I got you, but I lost Santa Maria and Aji 3. That's why I'm sad. Jia tells him to come closer, then hugs him and consoles him, saying, wherever you are, I'll always be with you. After a while, Kim Min gets a message. He says, I found a way to bring Aji back. After this, they are going. Jia is driving. Then Kim Min meets Mr. Joe. He sees Jia in the car and says, my sister has started doing a driving job for you. Kim Min says, sorry, at the meeting. Kim Min stops them from signing the contract. Then the police come and arrest Mark and Choel's dad. One of their men goes to see Aji 3, but she wasn't in her box. Now, everyone starts looking for Aji 3. Aji 3 is shown walking on the road. Remembering Kim Min's words, she starts talking to a man sitting on a bench. He says to her, go home, or you'll become like me. She asks, what do you mean? The man says, no one loves me, and no one wants to meet me. AGI 3 says, I like you. What kind of person are you? Now, the man gives AGI 3 money and tells her to go home. After this, AGI 3 takes a bus to go to Kim Min's house. Many people were out looking for AGI 3. Some people find AGI 3, but then the police and Dr. Bayek arrive and take Aji 3 away. Then they bring her home and spend time with her. After this, Jia is at Kim Min's house. She She says to him, "Now, you are fine, but you won't go out alone." He asks her to stay there, but Gia says, "I have to go home." He says, "I'm hungry. Make something for me." So she starts cooking for him. Then Kim and Gia's kissing scene is shown. Choel's dad tries to bribe Roya's dad. "We'll make you the company director if you leak Kim Min's disease secret." Roya overhears this. She tells Choel, "My dad and your dad have some plans. You didn't know about this right now." Choel searches his dad's office and finds a USB containing a video of Kim Min's disease. In the next scene, they all celebrate a birthday of one of Dr. Bayek's team members. Minq gives him bread, which makes him very happy. Then Dr. Bayek gives him a USB of AGI3, which contains the recorded time AGI3 spent outside. They get emotional seeing this data in the next scene. Choel goes to Kim Min's servant and asks about Minq's disease. The servant tells him he has had this disease for the past 15 years. After his mom and dad's death, he got this disease maybe because many people betrayed him. Choel also remembers the documents in which he asked Kim Min to sign. The servant says, after that, he locked himself inside the house and no one came to meet him. Choel says, "It was my fault." The servant says, "Then you should tell him." After this, he talks to Roya. "I never tried to understand." Kim Min Roya says you didn't know about his disease, but you can still be his friend in the next scene. Kim Min sees his light on lamp and understands that is missing him. So he goes to her house. Gia sees him and asks, "When did you come?" He says, "A little while ago." Kim Min touches her head and face and says, "You are very cute, but don't be cute in front of anyone else." Gia says, "You are the first to call me cute." He says, "Among all the girls I've met, you are the most beautiful." Gia says, "You don't know many girls and women do." He jokes and says, "Shall I find more girls?" Gia says, "I will kill you." Then he starts smiling. After that, they spend a very good time together. The next day, Roya's dad was about to reveal Kim Min's illness in the meeting, but Choel says, "First, let's listen to Kim Min's conference." After this, Kim Min is shown holding a press conference where he tells everyone about his illness and says, "Now, my disease is getting cured, and it happened because of the robot I made my friend. And this way, the miracle happened." He mentions Dr. Bayek prompting the media to request to meet Dr. Bayek and the robot in the meeting. After watching the press conference, Choel says no one else can be the director of this company except Kim Min. He has proven it, and he supports Kim Min. Roya also supports Kim Min. After this, Kim Min comes to meet Roya and Choel. Roya tells him Choel has also helped you. Then she leaves them alone after this. Choel apologizes to Kim Min. "I shouldn't have listened to my dad." Kim Min says to him, "Talk to your dad too. He should also admit his mistake." As Choel is leaving, Kim Min shakes his hand. "Now, nothing will happen to me." In the next scene, Kim Min is talking to Gia on the phone. Just then, Mr. Joe arrives. Kim Min gets a bit nervous. Mr. Joe says, "Now, all the work is done, so please accept my resignation." Kim Min says, "I had explained to you." Mr. Joe says, "That was your thought, but I can't work here anymore." And then he says goodbye and leaves. After this, Kim Min is with Gia. They spend a good time together, and Kim Min talks about her brother's resignation, which shocks her the next morning when Gia talks to her brother about it. Her sister-in-law scolds him and tells him to bring the resignation letter back. In the next scene, Mr. Joe meets Kim Min, but Kim Min misunderstands and accepts his resignation. Then Kim Min goes to Gia at the cafe. He talks about Mr. Joe, and Gia says he must have come to return the resignation letter. "I forgot to tell you." Kim Min says sadly, "I accepted his resignation." Gia now asks him to come to her house. He won't refuse in front of his wife. He says, "All right, I can do that, but if I come to your house, I'll definitely see your room after this." Kim Min comes to Gia's house. He says, "I've come to meet you while having dinner." Gia's sister-in-law asks, "Did you come for some work?" He says, "I probably can't live without Mr. Joe because I like him a lot. You are not only a companion to me, but also a mentor, so I've come to return your resignation." Mr. Joe says, "I have one condition, as long as you are with my sister. We have to keep work and family separate in the office. You'll be my boss, but outside the office, you'll be Gia's boyfriend to me." He says, "All right," so Mr. Joe agrees. Then Kim Min goes to Gia's room. He likes the room very much because he sees her creativity. They are talking suddenly. Gia's sister-in-law have pain, and Kim Min takes her to the hospital. After this, Gia's sister-in-law gives birth to a lovely baby girl. Dr. Bayek then holds a press conference where he talks about AG3, and then the robot is presented to everyone. After some time, a scene is shown where Kim Min comes inside his house, wearing a military uniform. Gia welcomes him. He says to her, "I missed you a lot." Now, she starts taking him inside. "Everyone is waiting for you." Gia slips and Kim Min catches her. They come close, and Kim Min says it's kissing time. And then he kisses Jia. And this is where the drama ends.